What's going on, YouTube? It's Monday, right? It's Monday. Get my days a little confused. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend and hope you guys are ready to have an amazing week. Here hanging out with RDAP Dan. So we're going to talk about a few things today for sure. As you can see, obviously the title of this video is how to influence a potential judge when you're getting ready to get sentenced. And does a personal narrative actually matter? Do they make a difference? That's going to be our main focus for tonight. But we are going to talk about a couple of other things as well. And I didn't plan on it, but some things have transpired and I want to share it with you. So we've got some stuff that we want to bring to your attention and make sure that you have the ability to protect yourself. What's going on, Jesse? And Kevin, Jesse goes to court next Wednesday. Jesse, I hope you reach out to me before you go to court. I know it's a really, really rough time getting ready to go. I know you've been following us you've definitely been with us well over a year now. And hopefully just hanging out with us here has helped with your anxiety. But if you do got some questions before you go, definitely pick up that phone and give me a call. All of you, it's funny. I get at least 1 or 2 phone calls a week from random people and I answer the phone. Hello? RDAP Dan. Or actually, I don't say RDAP Dan. I say, hi, this is Dan. They're like, is this RDAP Dan? It's like, yeah. Oh, I didn't really think you were going to answer the phone. Why not? I talk about it all the time. I'd be a crazy person not to answer the phone. But, so we've got Jenny Good with us. If you see me typing in, but magically, like my hands aren't on the keyboard, Jenny is one of our moderators, so she'll be actually chiming in and sending you guys some really good information. And she's on standby right now because she doesn't even know what I'm going to talk about yet. So we are going to talk about personal narratives and everything else in a few minutes, but we are going to get into a couple of other things first. Make sure if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, tap the notification bell. That way you get notifications of live updates. Make sure the notification bell is turned on or else you won't get notifications. And also, just like it says on the top of your screen, text the word YouTube to 35074. That puts you on our text message service. And sometimes people say it works. Sometimes people say it doesn't. Hopefully it's working today. I don't know anybody on the text message list that didn't get a message today. I didn't get a message, so I'm not sure if it's working. And Sarah, everybody's giving Jesse some stick it out. You're going to get through this. I know it's a really rough time. In addition, if you haven't gotten your RDAP Dan wristband, I know a bunch of you received them like today. I got a bunch of text messages with pictures of you all that have received your RDAP Dan wristband. So if you haven't received your RDAP Dan wristband and you would like one, hopefully Jenny will see that there is a link in the description of this video and she'll copy and paste it in here for you guys so you can get your RDAP Dan wristband. If you don't see her paste it in the chat log, it's also in the description. The RDAP Dan wristbands are absolutely free. They are designed to help you create awareness to not avoid on negativity. When you catch yourself dwelling on negativity, you look down, you see that mighty RDAP Dan wristband, and it makes you go, what am I doing? Get out of this train of thought and do something positive that's going to influence my outcome versus have no effect at all. So make sure, Emily Patrick, you got your wristband. High five. All right, Emily. Bonnie. Hey, Bonnie, how are you? Tamara. No message. No message. All right. I don't know, guys. Maybe something's up. I'll have to contact the provider. He's a good buddy of mine. He hasn't charged me anything for that text messaging service, but I will check with him. Maybe there's an issue. Can I wear your wristband? Unfortunately, no, Jesse. But if you do get an RDAP, they probably have wristbands that are similar. They're just going to say RDAP. They won't say RDAP Dan. But for those of you that wonder what they say, let's see. Let's show you a pink one. So they say, I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not because I got a big light behind it. But RDAP Dan on one side. And then we got community as method on the other side. We have hot pink, blue, baby blue, whatever you want to call it, and white. All right. Spelling error. Love this channel. Lucky to get caught doing stuff when much younger. Appreciate that. Kendra, how are you? So we're going to be talking in a few minutes about personal narratives. I know a lot of you have that question. But before I do, those of you that know that we're going round and round right now with prison RDAP law consultants. And they are struggling right now. They are flailing through the wind. They put up a fake website, a fake prison consultant review website that got put up yesterday. And My crew has already verified it was them, so there's no question. So whatever. So if you Google RDAP Dan and you come up with some stupid website that's got 1 star next to RDAP Dan, but yet there's nowhere to click on there to leave a review or post a comment, all it has is the PDF of where I was denied my request for early termination on probation. So check that out. But this magic envelope that arrived yesterday to my P.O. box, Saturday to my P.O. box, or at least I checked it and got it Saturday afternoon. So that's my P.O. box. Now, I removed the name of the person that was on there because they asked me to keep them anonymous. So what might be in this magic envelope that is pretty thick? You guys see that through the light? It's a pretty thick envelope. Charged them $2.87 to mail it, and I received it. And this happens to be some very, very crucial information about yours truly, the infamous RDAP Law Consultants. Yes, you guessed it. You probably guessed it. This is from somebody that actually works at the company that is terrified they are going to get in trouble because they have been well aware of their shady practices for some time now. This person actually talks about how RDAP Law Consultants doesn't do a lot of work for what they call the little people. So they got a bunch of people there that go on payment plans, and they call them the little people, and they don't do any work. They string them along, and this goes into drastic detail about specifics on the owners, possible lawsuits that the owners are actually facing, criminal charges that the owners might be potentially facing with potential fraud. There's all kinds of things that is going on with these guys right now. And the fact, and honestly, when I got this Saturday, I was like, do I really have time for this? Is this something I really want to stick my nose in and give my report and call? I mean, I've got the investigator's phone number that is investigating RDAP Law Consultants. It's all in here. The person that works there has been stifling information for some time now because they were afraid that they were going to get in trouble, because we all know if anybody works for a prison consultant and they don't know how conspiracies work, the prison consultant really needs to explain it to you. There's no excuse. So what I'm saying now, if you are working for RDAP Law Consultants or have worked for them in the past, or you might think this is somehow going to come back and bite you in the ass, it very well might. So do yourself a favor. My information is posted on here. You've got my email in the description of this video. If you are here, Jenny, if you could be so kind as to post, I'll go ahead and post it the first time. I don't know if Jenny's here yet, but if you do want to send me something in the mail and you want to remain anonymous, I have no interest in hurting anybody. But if you've got information on these guys, on stuff that they've done, trust me, you don't want to be there when stuff goes down. Oh, there we go. Jenny's on it. So there's my P.O. box, and just address it to either RDAP Dan or Federal Prison Time or Dan, whatever you want to address it to. That's my address. If you've been victimized by RDAP Law Consultants or you work for them, please shoot me a message, shoot me an email, call me up. I've received so many emails in the last few days from people that have actually used their services. I've received emails from people that have been contacted by them, and I've actually received 2 emails and 1 phone call from people that currently work there. And now, if I were to read this, and I don't want to read this stuff yet, I don't want to expose it yet. I need to verify it to be true so I don't look like an idiot saying something that's not true. But the accusations in here are pretty fucking detailed. I'm going to tell you that right now. Pretty detailed. So I'm going to find the appropriate authority to send this to, and we'll see what happens. So RDAP Law Consultants, if you're watching today or yesterday or any other day, we know that you posted the phony website. We've already got verification that it's you. You posted a website. You're angry. You're bitter. I get it. But just remember, I did give you the opportunity to stop doing what you're doing. So these are the consequences I'm willing to face. I knew you guys would come at me with some bullshit, posting some bullshit stuff on the internet, and it's great, whatever, flashy. It's very generic looking. You can see the website went up yesterday. The website literally went live yesterday. How convenient. And there's several things that link directly back to you guys. And if you don't know what they are, you don't know what you're doing. Tomorrow says release the memo. Oh, it will be released tomorrow, but I want to make sure it's true before I release anything, because you never know. This could just be one of their ploys to mislead and try to get me to say something that's not true. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be true, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a fun video with that. And not fun in the sense of I don't take pleasure in this, but now that they're continuing to like be children, instead of just owning what they did and moving on from it and trying to create a new pattern of doing the right thing, they're actually recreating their website now to where only clients can log into their website. They want to redo their website, put up a whole new website to where only clients can log in. You need a username and a password. They've already relaunched their attorney, the fake attorneys page, but you have to be a client now to see it. So attorneys can't see their information on there. These guys are just dirty, dirty scumbags. So enough about them. But we got your number, RDAP law. So we want to talk about the preparation when you guys are getting ready to go into prison. So we've spoken to a few people over the last couple days that have asked, hey, what have you done for those clients? How did you help these people have the potential to end up getting probation versus a prison sentence? And we're not talking about people that thought they were going to get probation. We're not talking, I mean, everybody wants to get it. Everybody hopes for it, right? But we're not talking about people that probation was on the table. We're not talking about people that the prosecutors were offering probation or not objecting to probation. All of these cases in the last 6 months of people that have received probation were all situations where they thought they were going away for a few years. Probation was not an option as far as their attorney said no way. Prosecutor said no way. And when they got probation, prosecutor in most cases actually objected to it, and the judge went with his gut and gave them probation anyway. So when people ask how this happened and why were they able to get probation when so many other people do not get it, you know, what are you doing that they're not doing? You know, when you ask me what Jay Hugassain did to receive probation, when you talk about these type of situations, it's easy for me to see the difference in what some people do versus other people. Creating a plan of action, personal narrative, character reference letters. That is a foundation that you can focus on and start with. But what goes into your personal narrative and your character reference letters also needs to be matched with what your day-to-day activities look like. What are you doing with a mentor network? What are you doing with community outreach? Are you going to schools? Are you speaking to children? Are you talking about how your poor decisions led you to this point in your life where now you may be standing in front of a judge, and how you didn't realize at the moment of doing what you were doing necessarily meant you were going to prison? You kind of found ways to justify it, or it wasn't me, it was the company I was working for. I was just an scapegoat, not asking the right questions. Spoke to a lady today who, she's looking at like 5 to 7 years, doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together, didn't make any money from the company she worked for. She was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like UCC1, Universal Commercial Code, where it's the whole straw man and charging off debt. She worked for a guy that told her, file these forms. She naively went and listened to him and did it. And now she's going to be going along to prison. Well, the owners have disappeared, flew the country. Another guy, I think, killed himself. So this lady's going to get sentenced, and she's probably going to be looking at some time. And she's not in a situation to hire anybody. She doesn't have any resources to her. So we're going to try to see what we can do to help her out. But these are things that could have been avoided, right, by making better decisions. So when you find yourself in this position, and you've got several months ahead of you still, because you just got indicted. Now you're waiting to possibly work out a plea agreement. Then you got your pre-sentence report. Then you got sentencing. This stuff can be dragged out, as you guys know, for several months to a couple of years. What are you doing within that time? Everyone's like, oh, I'm a role model pre-sentence probation guy. I don't get in any trouble. Okay, so does nobody else that's a first-time offender, nonviolent offender, first-time drug offender. Most people that are in your situation do not get in any additional trouble. That's not going to give the judge, oh, you deserve probation. What are these people doing different? They're creating an impact. Their letters don't look like everybody else's letters. Their letters aren't just reading, I'm sorry for what I did. This is going to be really hard on my children. Please give me a second chance. They're not putting that type of stuff in their letters. Maybe they initially are, but after we coach with them and consult with them enough and get them to understand the concept of how it needs to look different than what the judge is used to seeing. And that doesn't mean go in there and lie and pretend to be something you're not. It means get engaged in new habits. Start forming a new routine that's uncomfortable to you, because that uncomfortable routine could have giant payoffs when you stand in front of the judge. Going to schools and talking to children about seemingly unimportant decisions and choices that you've made in your life that led you to this point, where the red flags were ignored. When you talk about this and expose this, what it does is it makes it real. And two, it lets people know that not just horrible people go to prison. It lets the average person know that good people can make mistakes and go to prison. So in hopes, by you doing this, you might give and pardon on some great information to youth or college students or even continuing educational adults, giving them some information that they can bring with them. So when they do come across that crossroad where they've got an option to make or a choice to make, they might remember what you were saying that day, standing there talking to them and go, you know what? I need to focus on consequences because this possibly could lead me down a bad path, possibly even prison. And I don't want that after talking to Dan. That's part of what you're going to be doing. Going to AA, NA meetings if you have substance abuse issues and you're trying to qualify for the residential drug addiction program. Not just hiring some therapist that's going to say what you need to say to put it into a report. That can help, yes, but that should be a last resort. That should be once you've gone past your pre-sentence report and you weren't forthcoming with the probation officer because either your attorney told you not to, or you thought somehow it was going to hurt you, or you were too proud, or maybe you didn't identify at that moment that you really do have a problem that you weren't confronting and you just didn't admit it for whatever reason. Those things can affect you getting into the residential drug addiction program. Our job as a consultant, coach, whatever you want to call us, your prison buddy, I don't know, whatever you want to call me, our job is to make sure that you have taken advantage of every opportunity that's in front of you right now, giving you a clear path down the middle so you don't have to guess at what you should be focusing on. When I ask you guys, what do you think, when you tell me, yeah, I've got the letters all under control. Yeah, my letters are great. Who's deciding your letters are great? You? The person that's never gone through this before? Your letters might look like everybody else's letters. Everybody thinks their letters are great because you get all involved. You're all emotional in there. I'm so sorry. This is going to destroy my family. My child doesn't deserve this. The lady I spoke to today, she was very much telling me how her attorney wants her to get a psychologist because she's a caretaker of a young child, and she needs to get a therapist stating how hard this is going to be on the child. It's like, it's great that you're going through those extra steps, but what impact is that going to have on the judge? When I asked her, I'm like, what have you done? If the judge asks you, what have you done with your time? How has this affected you? She didn't really have an answer. She thought she did, but her answer was, well, I'm sorry for what I did, and I'm sorry for the people I hurt, and I realize how much damage this has done to my family. It's okay, but what have you done to demonstrate that? How have you illustrated that? What have you done with your time? And most people can't answer that question. When you hear too much silence, it's because there's no answer. It's because they're fishing for an answer because they don't want to admit that it's an empty answer. My job, at least what I feel my job is to call bullshit when I see bullshit. And maybe you don't see it as bullshit. Maybe you don't identify it. But usually by the end of a decent conversation, you'll start to see things a little differently and realize that just because you're sorry doesn't mean anything. Saying sorry and showing that you're sorry are two different things. Going to a soup kitchen and handing out, food to homeless people is great, but it's definitely not as impactful as going and speaking about what you did and how you've made these mistakes, because that is accepting, that is being vulnerable, that is owning what you did. Just going there and doing community service, nobody knows why you're there. You could be there because you're court ordered. You could be there because you've got a soft spot for homeless people. But if they know why you're doing it, man, that's rough. It's hard to admit I fucked up. I made a mistake. I chose to do the wrong thing. I'm going to pay the price in prison. And I'm hoping by you hearing my story and seeing that you and I are not that different, that you might make a better decision if that opportunity ever presents itself to you. That's the whole idea, is to create these new goals, these new patterns, these new mindsets that you can bring with you way beyond prison. And you might start doing it because you're like, I hope this matters. I hope the judge sees what I'm doing. That might be your initial reason, but down the road, what you'll find is it's no longer your initial reason. You're now doing it because it makes you feel better. It's actually helping you manage your anxiety because you are giving back. You're putting good energy out. And you're going to say to yourself, what harm can this possibly do? It can't hurt anything, but it might be able to make a difference. So when somebody says to me, how did these people get probation? It's doing things like that. It's putting an action plan into place and sticking to it and not backing off. That is what we can help you guys do. Your personal narratives, your character reference letters. The earlier you start these, the better. We had a guy that just signed up with us. We sent him an invoice back in July. He just signed up. I'm glad he signed up because we still have time to work on his letters. But that whole time from July to now, oh my God, if he would have got in touch with us then and took advantage of our services then, we could have had hundreds of hours of community outreach done. We could have hundreds of hours of AA and NA completed. There's so much additional mentoring that could have been done within that time frame. Now, he still has time. He's not looking to get sentenced, I think, until March. So he still has a couple of months to create some new patterns, some new habits. But the sooner you get started, the better the potential outcome. Putting hard work and effort into your character reference letters, those are the letters that are coming from your friends and family. You don't just want a bunch of people to write letters saying what a good person you are and how you're involved in the community and how you've never made a mistake before and how you've learned your lesson on this and how sending you to prison isn't going to do the community any good. Sending in letters like that, not that they're bad letters, because yes, there might be all truth in there, but those letters, again, they appear and read and look just like every other letter potentially that the judge is going to read. You guys hire your attorneys for a very specific purpose, to help you negotiate, to help you get the best possible plea, to help you get the lowest sentence possible. Attorneys do not focus on this stuff. So when people are like, oh, my attorneys are taking care of this, and we see the stuff that their attorneys are coaching them to put into their letters, a lot of the times it just seems like it's some template they found online that's very generic and written by somebody that's never been through it themselves. And it's going to have the same response and invoke the same response that invokes from every other person the judge that person has gone in front of, or that the judge has had in front of them. The whole idea is to give the judge something different. Let the judge read this and go, wow, I haven't read this before. Wow, I haven't seen somebody put in 1,000 hours on their own of community service. It's very rare to see somebody taking the initiative to go to schools and engage with youth, because now you're not just saying you're sorry, you're potentially saving other people. I'm telling you, there's a whole plan in place, making sure that you understand how to prepare for that pre-sentence report, making sure that if you are going to qualify for RDAP, if you do have substance abuse, that you know how to explain it during that interview. They're not going to tell you, well, in order to get an RDAP, you have to do this, this, and this is your time frame. They're not going to lay it out for you. They're going to ask you some questions. You're going to give them some answers. Having your personal narrative prepared when you walk into your pre-sentence report, that can show massive power on your side, to the sense of they're going to see that you're taking this serious. Most people write their personal narratives like a week or 2 weeks before they go into prison because they never focused on it. You've taken the time to get this thing prepared possibly months in advance, give it to the probation officer, so while he's creating your pre-sentence report a few weeks later after the interview, he's got some substantial, verifiable, accountable information that you provided to him that shows you in a different light other than just the person that made these horrible decisions. It also shows you as a human being that has taken accountability, that has learned their lessons in the sense of what you've done, not what you're saying. So you guys have to see the power and the passion that can be done with well-written letters that are written in the right format, the right way, the right direction, the right punch that you're trying to look for. That's what we specialize in, guys. This is some of the things that we've helped so many other people before you right now that we're going to continue to help. So don't allow yourself to find yourself sitting in a bunk one night wondering, what could I have done differently? You need to, if you're going into prison, you need to lay there and go, you know what? I'm okay with what's going on right now because I know that I did everything within my power. I reached out to every resource possible to me and I took advantage of it. If you don't, there will be times where you're laying there wondering what you could have done differently. So don't be the one. Man, I wish these people that post the crazy comments on the actual videos, not the live, I wish they would come on and talk. It seems like they only want to go talk after. They want to post crazy stuff. It's because it's probably bullshit, right? So yeah, guys, you know, there's a reason why we have so many clients that received probation in the last few months. It's because we do things a little bit differently. We have a different approach. We don't believe it needs to be done so cut and dry, so black and white. We really do believe that there is a creative side to this. And if you allow the creativity to manifest and take hold, that creativity can take you a long way. It's all about intentions. It's all about doing it for the right reason. It's all about wanting to help people, creating this people helping people communities method. And it's now we're at a point where we're at a point where people have now noticed we're around, and they're going to take whacks. And I thought about this when I decided to do the video with RDAP Law Consultants. I knew there was nothing they could legally do because it's all true. Everything we said was true. So their only course of action is two things. One, own it, which they've proven they don't own anything. Or B, is retaliate with negativity and try to attack with frivolous, aimless punches that aren't going to land anywhere. Because I'm telling you right now, the information, behold, in this envelope. Oh, I hope it's true. I hope that's verifiable information right there, guys, because it is going to deflate their tires. And if you're an employee of them and you're not scared of this, and you're still working there tomorrow after seeing this video, well, just say RDAP Dan warned you. I warned you. If you know what you're doing, you should know what you're involved in by now. You guys all heard the audio tape. Everybody there's got a fake name. All the employees told me they didn't even know that was the fake name. They all believed that was really his name. What was his name again? Jeez. I forgot his name. Well, Ong Nugent, not a real name. His real name is, if anybody remembers, go ahead and post it in here. I could go look. But when they found out his real name, they were all shocked. They were all shocked. And he went to prison for fraud. He got sentenced to 3 years, all kinds of cooperation, 5K1, the whole 9 yards. I can't knock that. I got a 5K1. I have cooperation. My paperwork, look, it's on Pacer. You want to go Google my information? It's on Pacer. It's not private. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'll tell you that I didn't know what a 5K1 was when I got it. My attorney said, we're going to get you a 5K1, a downward departure. I'm like, great, sounds good. I didn't know that meant that's your unofficial technical for telling on people card. That's not explained to you. For those of you that have 5K1s, yes, Tony, thank you, Jesse, the Asian guy. The one that goes by Ang Nugent is really Tony Pham, Pham, and we do believe that the name he was using might either be his wife or his sister, because we have found, I mean, I'm telling you, I've got a team that is just, they went deep. They went deep on this, and when we saw that stupid website up today, because somebody commented in one of the videos, when we saw that stupid website up today, within about 10 minutes, my SEO/IT guy proved it came from them within minutes. They thought because they went on to, they used a little privacy thing with the who is. So if you go to who is, it doesn't show who it's from. But they don't know Alex too well. And Alex was able to do a little digging and very quickly found out who created that website. So, man, I'm telling you guys, do the right thing. Because I'm going to do the right thing. Jesse, I don't think you have anything to worry about. No. Jesse, smack the first person who tries some bullshit, someone who thinks, you know, Jesse, you're going to a camp, right? For those of you going to a camp or low, I was talking to one of my clients today that's self-surrendering on Thursday. And he was asking me, what does it mean when they want to check your paperwork? It's like you're going to a camp. Don't even let that thought cross your mind. Nobody to camp. Almost every low, camps and lows, are not going to check your paperwork. They're not going to ask you to see things. They're not going to care anything about you. Just do your time, mind your own business. You don't need to go into a camp with the tough guy attitude, because all that's going to do is get you kicked out of a camp and sent to a higher security prison where those type of things do happen. That's okay. Baltimore, and I was only saying that because I don't want Jesse to freak out, but a lot of people think the way that I thought, the way that you think right now. Honestly, that is a very typical way of thinking. Not a bad way of thinking. It's because it's what we see on TV. When we watch TV, everything we don't see federal prison camps and lows. You don't see that in any TV shows or any movies, because it's not entertaining. It looks like our life as it is now. It's like, oh, is this a college campus? Oh, it's prison? They got a half-a-mile track? They got a volleyball court? Wait a minute, they have a tennis court? They have a nicer gym than I have in my community. They have a billiards room with pool tables. They have a music room with a soundproof room with professional guitars and drums and electronic equipment. They got a movie room. I mean, this is crazy. That's not what you think when you think about going to prison. So trust me, Baltimore, your thoughts are well accepted among a lot of people. That's why we do this channel, to try to bring the reality. Speaking of reality, if any of you out there are getting ready to fight your case, or you're getting ready to accept a plea, or you might be going to federal prison, you're getting indicted, you're under investigation, anything, and you're in need of a prison consultant, but you do not have the funds, we are going to be part of a reality show that is being put on by a major production company that is very interested in following your life as to what might be going on in your life and how this is affecting you and how we might be able to help you. So if you're interested in that and you want to be considered, please shoot me an email to rdapdan@gmail.com. Jenny, if you could be so kind as to throw the email in there so people can comment on the email or click on the email. My email is also in the my email is also in the description. It's rdapdan@gmail.com. Pretty easy. But we would love to hear from you. It doesn't really matter what area you're in. We would love to hear your story, where your mindset is, and you might be a candidate to be part of the reality show that would give you some resource, as long as you're willing to allow them to, because we want to get this information out. We want other people to see that not only horrible people go to prison, that good people make mistakes and there's consequences for that, but it's not what they think it's going to be. It's not the end of the world. So they are very much on board with doing it in a positive light. They're not looking to go attack the BOP. They're not looking to make it seem like it's unfair. They just want to create and show the reality of what you guys are going through as first-time nonviolent offenders that have no idea what to expect going into the prison system, and they want to watch the interaction with how we might be able to help you. And I think it's a great thing that they're trying to do, because this will expose and get more information out there to let other people know. If you guys read the stats on how many people attempt suicide, attempt flight, that are people just like you or I, that are terrified of the prison system because they don't know what they don't know. So this is your opportunity, my opportunity, to bring this to a national television show. So if you want to be a part of that, shoot me an email. That's all you got to do. Shoot me an email. We'll get your story. We'll go through it. We'll talk a little bit. I'll talk to the producers, get you on the phone with the producers, and we might be flying out to see you. So simple. rdapdan@gmail.com. You got my phone number. You can text me. So serious. I did 2 years in the state penitentiary and wouldn't mind sharing my story. I'd love to hear your story. They're very interested in people getting ready to go into prison. Not to say that they wouldn't want to hear stories of people that got out, but they are very interested to see the mindset that people are in, that freak out mode of what a day is like getting ready for prison. You can't focus on anything. You can't plan anything further out than like 2 or 3 weeks, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So definitely send me your info. We will be making a video specifically on that topic in the next couple of weeks. There's no hurry. There's no rush. We want to start gathering stories, gathering information, seeing who's going to be interested, seeing how they want to tell their story. And we'll just do what we normally do. Coach, I'm your coach. You're the person going in. and it's not going to be anything added. We're not looking for any special effects. We just want to see the real life of what it's like for somebody getting ready to go in the prison system. So shoot me an email if you're interested, and maybe you'll see yourself on TV. That's the thing. You got to be willing to share. You got to be willing to be okay with that. And your ultimate goal, what I tell people is, look, you're going to prison. You didn't know what you're going through. You're terrified. Don't hide in the dark. Don't be ashamed of it. Own it and help somebody else that might be coming in behind you. You know, that was one of the thoughts I had when I made this YouTube channel. Like, man, going out there exposing myself, everyone's going to know that I went to prison. How are people going to view me? How are people going to judge me? And I'll tell you, I don't feel like I'm viewed or judged bad. There might be some people out there that want to give me shit, but whatever. For the most part, most of you have been very respectful. Most of you have been very kind. Most of you have been very understanding. Most of you really appreciate what we try to do. We try to show you the good sides, the bad sides. We try to expose the people that are out there to hurt you, even though that could negatively affect the business, because now they go out and post frivolous stuff on the internet that we have to deal with. But if I'm not doing this for the right reasons, why the fuck am I doing it at all? So that's why we do it. So please, if you have a story and you're getting ready to go to prison, or you just got indicted, or you're under investigation and you want to share it, shoot me a call or shoot me an email, rdapdan@gmail.com, and we will see if we can't get your story as part of it's a reality show. It's an actual show that's reality. It's not scripted. So we want real, 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 and then some more real. Nothing fake. I bet this does mature you a lot. Going through this process really grounds your focus on what's important, what's not important. But I can tell you, Jesse, when you get out of prison, it's really easy to go back to old ways. And not old ways like criminal ways, but it's really easy to go back to simple-minded thinking, to where you take things for granted. You find yourself getting upset and stressed out. You got to enjoy the little things. And when I say little things, I mean little things. You know how excited I am tonight? Let me show you how excited I am. This is what I'm doing after the show. I'm playing Jenga. 39 years old, and we are going to throw down with some Jenga tonight. We just bought it. It's unopened, so we're going to play Jenga. Jenga is, and these are things I thought about in prison. How fun would it be to have just like game night with friends and family, with quiet, with music you want to listen to, with the backdrop of what you want, sitting on your patio, sitting on your couch, holding a remote control, being able to get up and get a slice of pizza, being able to walk over to the fridge, being able to get in your car and go drive to the store. Those little things that we can do right now, just whenever we want, that's all the things that you're probably focusing on right now. You're thinking, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do this anymore. And you're right. You're not gonna be able to do it for a while. But when you get out, it's very easy to go back to that same train of thought where you just take it for granted. And when you start taking it for granted, you start getting complacent. And when you start getting complacent, you can make mistakes. How do we avoid complacency? By staying aware. And how do we stay aware? By avoiding negativity. And how do we avoid negativity? RDAP Dan wristbands. That's how. I mean, that's one way. They work for me. No, really, the truth, this man right here. If you don't have this book, you're missing out on life. I know a lot of you have gotten it since you heard me talk about it all the time. This was my book from prison. This was sent to me from a friend of the family. And this book, I read this. I started reading this before I went into RDAP, and it absolutely changed my life because it immediately clicked with me, and I identified that I need to make changes in my life and that I need to make better decisions, and helped me focus on not staying so negative. This book, you don't have to read the whole book. You read the first 20 pages and you're like, oh my God, Tony Robbins is talking to me. You really feel like this man is talking directly to you. You don't have to be super passionate about reading. Reading doesn't need to be your thing. A lot of people don't read at all in the free world, but they get to prison and they read a lot. It's just one of those things that happens. And this book, when you're having a bad day, pick it up, just start reading it. How many of you in this room have gotten this book since we spoke? I know a lot of you have gotten it. I don't know if anybody in here right now has received the book, but how many of you gotten this book? This book is amazing, and it's old. What year was it from? Like 1980 something, I think. And you wouldn't know it. I mean, it doesn't look like it's from 1980. It's probably got a revamped cover. But telling you guys, I was not a big fan of motivational speakers and people like Tony Robbins. I thought it was all bullshit. I thought the Bible was all bullshit. I didn't need to be told anything. I had all the answers. I could figure it out. Nobody was going to teach me anything. Well, federal government taught me a lot. They taught me that you can't talk your way out of a situation. You can't talk your way out of a federal indictment. You can't pay your way out of a federal indictment in most cases. So what gets you through a federal indictment? What gets you through being investigated? What gets you through a prison sentence? What gets you through sleeping in a room with a bunch of other men snoring and farting and burping all night and talking? And what gets you through that? It's not allowing your mind to be trapped. It's not giving in to the temptation to buy into the negativity. It's not giving in and getting into the hustles and blaming everybody else, sitting around with those negative guys in prison that want to blame the system, how they just want to lock people up. That's all they care about is locking people up. Who cares if that's true? There's plenty of people that have never been into the system that don't fall into the system because they don't allow themselves to do anything that would put themselves in jeopardy. How many of us had that friend when we were all 15, 16, 17 years old and smoke a little weed, have a couple drinks and get in the car and take off? And you got that one friend that's like, nah, I'm good. He's not in prison right now, is he? He's not under indictment. You probably don't even know him anymore because you guys drifted so far apart that he's over there doing his own thing, raising a family, working, owning a business, whatever it is, making good decisions. Never been to a police department, never had handcuffs on, doesn't know what that's like, and probably never will. So we can't blame the federal government because we messed up and went to prison. It's not like every single one of us is really innocent, right? The cops, they weren't just like, we're going to go kick in John Doe's door because we need to arrest somebody today. No, it's easy to blame others. It's easy to play the victim. It's easy to say somebody told on me. It's not easy to say I fucked up. It's not easy to say I knew better. It's not easy to say I heard the voices. I saw the red flags, but I ignored it. Once you get to that point and you're making those statements to yourself, and the best way to do that is go speak at a school, go talk to children. And you'll find, what I find with people that really open up and start talking, they break down and start crying. And they're like, I can't believe I'm crying about this. It's because you've probably never really been honest about it before until now. Most people will walk around and baby you. Oh yeah. Oh, she broke up with you? Bitch. Oh, he wants a divorce? What an asshole. Meanwhile, I mean, come on. What part did we play in the relationship going south? What part did we play in the conspiracy? Be real. You're not fooling anybody else. Nobody else gives a fuck, really. You can go lie to everybody and they're like, great, what's for dinner? The government's not going to buy your story, which many of you have learned. The CEOs aren't going to care. RDAP coordinators aren't going to buy your shit. The RDAP staff, the DTSs, the drug treatment specialists that's going to be over your life in RDAP, they're not going to care about your song and dance and your pity party. So snap out of that now and get ready for this roller coaster because it's a bumpy ride, but it will come and go, and it's all about your attitude and all about how you handle it. I see tomorrow talking about house arrest. And spelling, Dan will talk with anybody. I will talk with anybody. As long as, I mean, I only speak English, so you have to be able to speak English. Other than that, I can't speak like Spanish or Chinese or Mandarin or anything else. But somebody's talking about, house arrest does not count. We're talking about pretrial. A lot of you are on pretrial house arrest. A lot of people ask me, does that count towards probation? Nope. Nothing on pretrial counts towards your prison sentence or probation. None of it. None of it, none of it, none of it. Even when you get out of prison, when you go to the halfway house doesn't count towards probation. If you get on home confinement, because you know you can do the last 10% of your sentence. So if you're sentenced to say 60 months, and let's say you're given, I don't know, a year halfway house. So you serve 6 months in the halfway house, and then because your sentence was 60 months, you can serve that last 6 months on home confinement. That does not count towards your probation or your supervised release. You're still in BOP custody at that point. Until you've been released from BOP custody and you've given them everything they want from you, then your probation starts. Or else I would have been off probation a long time ago. So it's unfortunate. A lot of people think that, not sure why. A lot of people get a lot of wrong information. They get a lot of wrong information about the Second Chance Act. I was talking to a lady that is convinced that you can't do RDAP and get additional halfway house together. It's like, okay. I mean, I did 42-month sentence, almost 6 months good time. I got a year off for RDAP, and I got 11 months federal halfway house. So people ask me this all the time. What is Second Chance Act? How does it work? So before Second Chance Act, before that act was enacted, you had to be considered, not given. They were to consider you for 6 months halfway house. Doesn't mean they're going to give you 6 months halfway house. It means you were to be considered for 6 months halfway house. Once the Second Chance Act kicked in place, then what it stated was you are now to be considered for 12 months of halfway house. Doesn't mean they have to give you 12 months. Don't think I qualify, they have to give it to me. They don't have to do a thing. They don't have to do it. It's just you need to be considered. So how do you get considered, and how do you get qualified, and how do you actually get given this additional halfway house time? Well, if we had that magic recipe, trust me, we would be sharing it with you. But what we've seen work is hard work, dedication, taking classes, programming, staying out of trouble. You'll hear other people go, oh, well, if you do good in prison and you have a place to go and a job, the case manager doesn't want to give you extra halfway house because you've got your stuff together and they want to give it to somebody else that doesn't have a home to go to. That could be the case manager's thought process. Or the case manager could go, you know what, this person's busted their ass. This person deserves a second chance, so I'm going to allow them to take it. It really does come down to the case manager and how you sell it and explain it and illustrate it, and not just going in, so what do I got to do to get extra halfway house time? You know, that shouldn't be your first question to a case manager. You know, you get to prison, within the first couple of weeks, you meet with your case manager. Hi, I just started my sentence. What do I got to do to get a year halfway house? Boom, they're going to just fill you full of holes and ignore your question. Don't ask them. Just realize we have a plan, we have a method in place, and if you work it, you can create the opportunity to create it later on down the road. We got to show some good faith. We got to show some that you've been able to A, stay out of trouble, B, go above and beyond what the average person does. Program, take classes that mean something. Don't go take an art class because you like playing with clay or Play-Doh. Take a class that actually builds into your resume of reentry skills. Show that you're willing to be a citizen and participant of the society that you're expected to engage in. These are things that can make a difference. And even if they don't get you additional time off, it will change your mental thinking and you will come out a better person. So anyway, guys, it's about all we got for this evening. Just wanted to chat with you guys a little bit. Again, if you've been indicted, if you're under investigation, if you're looking at, if you know something's coming down the pipe and you're freaking out and you do want to share your story and you're interested in being part of a potentially nationally syndicated reality show that is to take place and show what it's like for not necessarily don't have to be a white collar criminal, guys. It's just a first time offender, somebody that's terrified of the system and don't quite understand what's next. If you want the help and you want the support, all you need to do is reach out to me. We can help you. We can also try to get you part of the show. And if you are able to be part of the show, of course, there would be no cost to you because that would be, you'd be willing to allow this to be open and shared with others to see. And trust me when I tell you, there's no intent to make anybody look bad. We want to expose the raw anxiety and fear that is installed in so many people that are getting ready to go into this system, to bring more awareness about what people go through and that it doesn't just happen to bad people. That's the huge misconception, is only bad people go to prison. And we all were raised that way. We all believed it. At least I believed it until I went through it, because I never thought I was a bad person. Clearly, there was issues I needed to work on. And because of prison, I'm a better person for it. So you can too. So yeah, guys, follow me on Facebook. Leave me a review. If I've done anything to help you, maybe Jenny can post that on here for us. If you don't see it, Jenny, it's in the description of this video towards the bottom. There's a link to my federal prison, basically my business page. There's a link there. Oh, she's all over it. Look how fast she was. Boom, and it's there. It's like magic. You can leave a review. Click on there, leave a review, give me a rating. If you love me, give me a 5. If you hate me, give me a 1. Just tell me why. Let me know how I could improve. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to hear about. feel free to post on my Facebook. Say, hey, we would love it if you talked about this. And hey, if enough people want to hear about it, we will talk about it. This, as you can tell, this is like open mic. That's what it should be called, RDAP Dan, open mic night, because it's not scripted. We talked about a little bit of everything tonight. We talked about the infamous RDAP law consultants and the nice packet we received from an employee. I don't know if the employee's still there or if he sent this and then quit, but I told him we were going to make a YouTube video about it. And he said, as long as you don't share my information, I'm okay with that. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. What is it? Did we get it from a male or a female? RDAP Law Consultants is running around in circles right now going, oh my God, what is in that envelope? If you knew, you would not be happy. Trust me, I might get like a hitman. A ninja might sneak into my house in the middle of the night looking for this. I'm going to have to go put this in an undisclosed location for textile. All right, that's about it. Post your pictures. Oh, there we go. Jenny just said, post your pictures. Well, Jenny's posting as me. But post your pictures on Facebook on our business page of you wearing your amazing RDAP Dan wristband. I got a bunch of messages today. I saw somebody post in here saying they didn't get it yet. If you didn't get your RDAP Dan wristband, do me a favor. If you just ordered it like a week and a half ago, it's probably coming. Shelly mailed out like 15 or 16 of them just last week. I see there's only one new response on there. But if it's been like several weeks since you filled out the form, do me a favor, shoot me an email. Oliver, where's Oliver's not in here. Oliver's not protecting nothing except his biscuits. You want a biscuit? Oliver doesn't protect anybody. He only protects, but he might protect Shelly. But if you got your RDAP Dan wristband, post a picture on Facebook. We'd love to see you wearing it. Show support. Again, if you want to help out the cause, a lot of people in federal prison that are struggling, going without. We receive donations weekly. I appreciate those donations. They help a lot of people. You guys don't even know how many people those donations help. So keep up the faith, one day at a time, people helping people, community as method. I will see you guys all on Wednesday. I love every single one of you. I am RDAP Dan with Federal Prison Time, and that's that.